Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you clicking on that video as always. And we are back with another weekly wears video. And I did something a little different this week. I decided to take all the samples I have and pick 7 that I wore, one every day. Some of these are ones that you guys actually sent to me. Actually, all but 2 of them you guys actually sent over to me. So I'm so appreciative of that. I always enjoy trying things that you guys want me to try. That's the purpose of this week's weekly wears. Without further ado, let's jump right into the list, starting with Sunday. So obviously I don't have the bottle here with me, so I will not be showing the bottle, but Sunday scent is one that is, I think, within the fragrance community is massively hyped. 1, it's discontinued. 2, it's a fantastic fragrance, and I'll get more into that. Scent I am talking about is Issey Miyake's Pulse of the Night. This fragrance destroys any preconceived notions of the house of Issey Miyake. And what I mean by that is that Issey Miyake is synonymous with Les Dissi Porum, which was, I would imagine, its bestseller. I mean, it's one of these fragrances that is legendary in the fragrance community and in the world, really. This is one of the most popular fragrances ever, and it's a freshie, and it's citrusy, and it's more of a everyday type of wear. However, this fragrance, Pulse of the Night, is amazing. It's a sort of an evening fragrance, more evening I would imagine it to be. It lives up to the hype. It smells sexy, it's grown up. There's a massively heavy dose of amber and incense in the opening of this. That's supported by this sweet tonka bean, earthy, chocolatey patchouli, and creamy sandalwood. So blown away when I first smelled this. My question would be, why is this discontinued? It's such a great fragrance. It lasted all day on me. I was getting wafts of it. It has just the right amount of sweetness to this. It smells like maybe a couple other things that I've smelled. I know people compare this to Parfums de Marly's Herod. It's been a while since I smelled Herod, but this isn't as sweet as Herod, or at least my memory of what Herod is. And I also get far more tobacco in Herod. I don't even know if tobacco is a note in here. I do pick it up slightly, maybe something that comes across as tobacco, but I think it's just a combination of the incense, the amber, the patchouli, adding that earthy, leafy feel, that chocolatey feel to this. Just an incredible scent, and probably something that eventually I would love to pick up, but I know it's very difficult to find. It's becoming harder to find. Prices are going up on this. So I don't know if you guys know any deals on Pulse of the Night, send it my way because I'd love to grab it. Sunday's fragrance, Pulse of the Night from Issey Miyake. On Monday was another fragrance that you guys sent to me, and again, I'm so appreciative of that. Scent I went with is L'Insomnie from Lalique. A classy masculine fragrance with slightly green herbal nuances to it. It smells like it would be perfect for the spring and fall. It's also subtly kind of sneaky a barbershop fragrance. There's this underlying cleanliness to it, masculinity again, that just really works well pretty much for every guy. I would imagine that if you are a fan of fragrance, that you maybe even like some of the older school type stuff. I'm not saying it smells old school, but it's reminiscent of the clean barbershop-y oak moss type fragrances. There's nothing overdone in this fragrance. I pick up a lot of the notes, but they're all subtly sort of finished, and this smells like a complete fragrance. And the most shocking thing about this scent is its price. The price for what you're getting is, again, not a surprise from Lalique. They make some amazing fragrances that are budget friendly and inexpensive. So if you are looking to save money but not sacrifice too much in quality and creativity, I would recommend looking at the house of Lalique. Lalique's L'Insomnie, wore it on Monday. Great fragrance. On Tuesday, I went with a fragrance that was sent to me by my lovely friend Margie Noir, and you can catch Margie on Mr. Smelly's live streams pretty much every Saturday night. But she sent me this fragrance that I had told her, she had talked about it on the live stream, and I said, that sounds really nice. I'd be curious to smell that. She was nice enough to send me over a decant of it. The scent I'm talking about is Elie Saab's Essence No. 7 Neroli. Now, I've been really into Neroli lately. Last week I did, Rackstall haul. I picked up Neroli Woods from Banana Republic. And I want to say the prior week to that, I picked up Bulgari's Wood Neroli. So Neroli has been sort of a common theme on this channel for the last week or so, last 2 weeks. So I had this sample and I really wanted to, I tried it once before, but I wanted to give it a really full wear. And I did that. I get a very earthy, realistic, photorealistic Neroli. It has this element to it that is unlike many top designer, popular mainstream type fragrances that have Neroli as sort of the headliner. You have to be aware of that if you're going to purchase this fragrance. It's different than any other Neroli that you've smelled. However, it's still familiar enough to know that it's Neroli. Surprisingly, that Neroli lingers for quite a bit in this fragrance. However, in the mid and dry down, it does change quite a bit. I get much more white floral mixed with some woods and musk. So this becomes far more feminine on my skin. This was actually perfumed by Francis Kurkdjian, so the quality is there. It's beautifully done. I imagine this on some high-powered businesswoman walking to the office in some high-rise in the city in the dead of summer. This is gonna be a fantastic spring, summertime scent. You're gonna smell amazing. Ladies, I think you should definitely check this one out. And some of the guys, this is technically a unisex fragrance, just however on me, it does lean feminine with those white florals. Wore it on Tuesday, Elie Saab's Neroli. On Wednesday, this is one that I've had in my collection for a little while. I have a 5 ml decant of it. I've tested it quite a bit prior to this, and I hadn't worn it in a while, so I figured, let's go for it. I'm gonna try it. Scent I'm talking about is L'Homme Ideal Extreme from Guerlain. I'll be quite honest right off the get, this is not my favorite from the line. I get a slightly cloying plum note. I don't think it's just the plum. It's a fruitiness to this that can be slightly cloying to me. That is somewhat balanced out by the leather and peppery notes in addition to that plum. However, then the almond comes in, and then that adds another sort of powdery sweetness to this. This is a very sweet fragrance, and it has familiar aspects to the L'Homme Ideal EDP. I just like how they're done in the EDP more. This projects well for the first couple hours, but I was disappointed with the longevity from it. Now, some of that might have to do with, it's tough to get a sense of longevity sometimes when you're using a decant or a smaller sample, because you just don't have the volume of liquid that comes out from a sort of retail version of the atomizer. So, you know, I try to spray a little heavier when I'm testing with samples, and that should get me to around where I would be if I just had the normal bottle. So I don't want to overly criticize it for longevity. However, it just didn't last that long on me. I sprayed it fairly heavy. So keep that in mind. If this is one on your list that, again, this one is really hyped, this whole line is pretty much hyped, my opinion, I prefer the EDP. I will say that the mid and dry down of this, when some of that more of that leather starts to come through, is more, it's more appealing to me than that opening. L'Homme Ideal Extreme from Guerlain. On Thursday, I was absolutely blown away by this sample, and more likely than not, I will be picking up a bottle of this, and I want to say this is a pretty inexpensive fragrance, which is even better. Really well done, masculine, classy scent. Scent I'm talking about is Defendi Porum from Fendi. This is a warm, spicy, leather-forward fragrance with some added greenness to it, which is so well done. It's familiar but unique at the same time, if that makes any sense at all. So there's something to it that is familiar to me. I've smelled it before, smelled it in other fragrances, and I've enjoyed it in other fragrances. But there's also this underlying uniqueness, and I think that comes from some of the animalic notes in here. It also is why this is such an interesting, intriguing scent. It strikes me as more of a cool weather fragrance. However, it could be worn during the day to the office and then out later that night for dinner with your wife, or an evening out with friends. So I think it works perfectly for that situation, that transitional type fragrance, which I really love. You guys know that I talk a lot about transitional fragrances because I think if you're looking for the most value, you want something that you can wear morning till night, but not always. I mean, if you have a huge collection, to each his own, but I do like that aspect of this. Longevity was pretty good, lasted pretty much a full work day for me, so looking forward to grabbing one eventually. Defendi Porum from Fendi. So on Friday, this is one that I've tried before that I really wanted to like. The opening is tough, but it's the mid to dry down, amazing. Scent I'm talking about is Cartier's Declaration. This is so heavy on the cumin, the coriander, the cardamom up top. It smells like food to me. It smells like what your clothes would smell like after a full day of someone frying, stewing, roasting Sunday dinner. this is how you would smell at the end of it. My wife was actually reminded of our favorite Indian restaurant smelling the opening of this. So it can be, it's very spicy and smells like food. So keep that in mind if this is something that you're considering blind buying. However, that does subside. And really with that, while that's all going on, there's this sort of undertone to it, this clean, soapy, masculine, effortless, classy, sophisticated type cleanness to this from the iris, the ginger, and the vetiver. Again, I'm not crazy about the opening, but this is super versatile. This, if you can get past that opening, and you may like the opening, so you may not be reminded of food. It might just be the right amount of spice for you. However, for me, it could be almost a deal breaker, which sucks because I like the mid to dry down so much. So this is one that I'd like to test out a bit more. Again, see how long that opening lasts. I mean, it lasted a good hour and 15 minutes. So that's considerable. It's not a fleeting opening, but that, again, those spices up top, very powerful. Cartier's Declaration. Finally on Saturday, the last sample. And the reason I wanted to wear this was because I've been seeing this pop up in the rack stores. And I think if I give my opinion on it, I don't necessarily have to grab a bottle of it. And you guys might get a sense of, if you see it out, whether or not you should buy it or not. Scent I'm talking about is Jimmy Choo Man Intense. There's not much to say about this scent. It's very safe. It's very familiar. It is a spicy men's shower gel type fragrance. Mass pleaser, nothing particularly unique about it. Smells nice enough, but if you've been collecting for a while, chances are you already have a fragrance in your collection that scratches this itch. Despite the intense designation of it, I didn't really get great longevity. I mean, it was probably about average longevity, so I was disappointed in that regard, but the smell was really nice. My wife really enjoyed this smell. So, again, it will scratch that itch of those typical blue type shower gel fragrances. This one might be a tad bit more green than your typical blue fragrance. But it still checks all those boxes and is nice enough. Jimmy Choo Man Intense. As always, guys, let me know in the comment section down below what your last week's rotation was or what you guys are just wearing in general. I always like knowing what you guys are wearing. It gives me ideas as to what I might pick up next. If you like what you saw today, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, hit that bell notification so you are updated whenever I upload new content. But until then, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video.